sports fans? Welcome to episode 30. Welcome to another episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Present Sports Breakers. NCAA Football Week 12 and the NFL Week 11 is kicking underway this Thursday. Craig, man, we took our bye week for back-to-back weeks for each sport. What
Yep. Yep.
how's your break?
Worse than it was before. Worse than it was before.
Man,
Sports wise, it just seems like everything's going wrong.
con- it's going, man. We were literally just a few weeks away, and I was like, you know what? Some key injuries are gonna get back. The Dallas Cowboys are gonna get healthy, and now it's just like a completely dumpster fire in that organization. And just as I thought it couldn't get any worse, Dak Prescott is out for the year. Not like he's doing anything this year anyway. Uh, and the NFL to me is still a
Wide
little,
open.
yeah, but it's well, unless you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, then you're three-peating. Um, but before we go on to college, is there anything that has shocked you in the NFL right now the last 2 weeks? Other than, to me, the only team that's stretched out that looks like they're better than everybody else is the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah. It's shocking that the Kansas City Chiefs are able to just to continue to get away with the things that they're getting away with, and then still winning the games. You know what I mean? It's like everything could possibly go wrong for them, yet they still come out and they still find a way to win it. Um, and
You know,
then Tampa being where they were a couple weeks ago, and now the defense can't help the offense at all. Offense is giving them opportunities, and they just can't seal the deal. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean that's as far as like surprising. That's where I'm at.
that's the yeah, and I know a lot of people are still gonna say, uh, give Kansas City their flowers. They're undefeated. Great teams still find ways to win, but that's not how it really goes. If
Yeah,
if you if you agree, like I feel like I don't know. Like, are the Kansas City Chiefs doing a pretty good job this year? Yeah, they're undefeated. They're doing what they need to do to win, but it just feels like something else is going on.
yeah. I mean, it could be a few things. It could be they just happen to know how to win in those key moments, and other teams don't. Yeah, it seems like a few breaks have kind of gone their way when maybe they shouldn't have, um, but that's kind of where we're at. They're finding ways to get things done that need to be done, and other teams aren't.
Uh, I do think the Detroit Lions in their crazy win last night on Sunday Night Football was almost expected from their head coach.
Say that again.
The win last night from the Detroit Lions almost looked like it was expected from their head coach.
Oh yeah,
I think we're going on week 11 now in the NFL. I know Houston has had some bang up injuries, but if we could talk halfway point or a little over halfway, I think NFL defenses are finally trying to get or finally are found a way to stop CJ Stroud. Um,
yeah. I don't. It's they got some game tape on him. They got some game tape on not just him, but D'Amico Ryan's in that offense as a whole, and maybe even the defense. Last year they kind of came in. D'Amico was new, CJ was new, the team was new, and so it probably caught a few people off guard on maybe how good they were. But this year, you have tape, you've played them before, you know exactly what you're going to get, and I think that's kind of where we're at. And I think we had, if I'm not mistaken, we had kind of mentioned that a little bit prior to the season starting. It's like, hey, they were really good last year. They did win like seven of their like six of their wins came by like 5 points or less or something like that. It was a ridiculously close schedule. They eked out a couple wins that they probably shouldn't have last year, and like you said, maybe those wins don't go their way this year. Maybe they do, and that's where we're at.
So I think the AFC still comes down to just three teams: Buffalo, Baltimore, Kansas City. I don't think a team has shined in the AFC that looks like they're going to outplay any of those teams in January.
A team that has surprised me is
In
the
the AFC,
Steelers. It's the Steelers. They. I didn't think Russell was going to be as good as he was. He
I
came
forgot
in.
about the
He
Steelers.
took command of the offense. He's only really had a couple games under his belt, and he's kind of looked like vintage Russ.
Let me
And
let me restate that then. Baltimore, Kansas City, Pittsburgh. I'll throw out
you don't like the
Buffalo.
Bills.
I don't trust Josh Allen. He's still throwing his picks. So yeah, I completely forgot about the Steelers.
Chargers are sitting at a sneaky 6-3 though.
I won't trust them come
No,
January.
trusting them, no, but I mean, they're sitting there. They're kind of like, hey, you know, we got that hard ball going on.
Harbaugh. Let's just discuss a little bit college football, then we'll do some predictions. Anything shocked you in college football the last 2 weeks?
Yes, OU's atrocious.
Well, we knew that 2 weeks ago. Last time we talked.
Not this atrocious.
They almost beat Missouri, and if it wasn't for that pick six, they probably would have. All they needed was a
Uh,
field goal.
yeah, OU. They just find ways to lose new weeks. Every week they find a way to lose in a different way, different manner, different way. Um,
Were you shocked this past week in Alabama just dismantling LSU?
a little bit. I still LSU was good, yes, but after seeing where USC is and knowing that USC beat them to start the season, I don't feel like LSU completely hit a different gear or different level after that game. I think they've had a couple good weeks, but deep down, I felt like LSU was still that same team, and Alabama has their top end is here, and they've been playing here. So I felt
Yeah.
like if Alabama can at least get to that top end, which you go into a night game against LSU primetime television, you're going to have that next year, which is what OU is going to see in 2 weeks. But it's going to be a bloodbath when they play Alabama. It's going to be bad.
Georgia losing the way they didn't surprise me. I know a lot of people online are like, Georgia losing shocked me. I mean,
Georgia losing the way they did shocked me. I knew Ole Miss could score points. I wasn't expecting Ole Miss to hold Georgia to 10 points. Because Ole
if you
Miss,
Ole Miss played on defense the way Texas did in that second half, and they completely almost shut Georgia out in that second half.
yeah,
And Carson Beck does nothing but throw turnovers. You might as well call him an open bakery because that's all he does is produce turnovers. So
Little Arby's.
little Arby's, RBQ is back by the way.
Not
Um,
sponsored.
not sponsored. But we'll get it ready to get into some NCAA football predictions. I'll tell you a team that shocked me so far, and that's Notre Dame. Even though they're not playing the biggest of teams, they're still rolling, and they probably should be undefeated if it wasn't for that hiccup earlier in the season.
Against Northern Illinois. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that came off the heels of beating A&M in a very emotional game the first
yeah.
week. Maybe you think you're a little bit better than what you should be, and you're taken for granted. Northern Illinois comes in and sneaks one out. Yeah, I mean they're granted their schedule's not the greatest,
And
but
everybody's so caught up with Cam Ward. I think Miami is this year's Florida State. They're barely finding ways to win. I don't think they're as good as people say they are. And it showed,
in the
they're
ACC,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, because last year Florida State was doing the same thing. They They
And
looked good in some games, but they were squeaking by a lot of their games.
I still say Clemson beats them in the ACC championship, but we'll see.
I think so too. I think Clemson's kind of a sneaky underrated. Now Pittsburgh comes out and beats Clemson this weekend. I don't think.
Big 12 wide open, but it looks like it's Colorado's now to take. Colorado has
Colorado
the
BYU.
last 3 games are very, very easy for Colorado. They finish out with Oklahoma State on the road or at home. So it looks like it'll be Colorado BYU in the Big 12 championship.
Watch that be the one Big 12 game that Oklahoma State wins. Wouldn't that be something that it causes kind of like a 3-way tie type thing?
A little chaos.
But we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. We said, hey, here's the test that these teams have ahead of them. If they get by these couple tests, then you're kind of coasting the way out. And
I can't believe Oklahoma State's 3-7 missing a bowl game this year.
Yeah. I mean, BYU, I'm not going to say it's a cakewalk because it looks like Kansas kind of turned it on last week. And if they can reciprocate that, then maybe you might have something next week. But
so let's dig into some predictions. We'll start with the 11 o'clock games. Probably the biggest 11 o'clock game on the market. Texas at Arkansas. Texas, I knew Florida was bad, but damn, I didn't know Florida was that bad.
Well, they were better with DJ Lagway. They were much better with DJ Lagway.
I thought Florida State's defense was going to get after Quinn a little bit easier, and I thought they were going to make it tougher on him. But he just went out there and picked them apart. 5 touchdowns. It was 35-0 at halftime. On the road, rivalry game, Arkansas. Any chance of an upset?
I don't think so this year. I think Texas is a pretty solid football team. I don't think they can lose to lesser teams this year. I think they're wired too good to be bad against teams like this.
I'll take Texas, but I really want to see on the road. I want to see Texas do to Arkansas what they did to Florida. I don't want them to go out and have a 2017 victory on the road against Arkansas. Yeah. I think they need to establish dominance early on the road.
Isn't it funny though? Like, yes, Texas SEC schedule is fairly easy, and I can't really speak for OU, but the whole narrative was these teams from the Big 12 can't come in here and run the SEC, and Georgia might not even make the SEC championship, and if they don't, it's probably Texas to win.
I know a lot of people, and I got into some arguments over the weekend, online, in person, but I was telling people all along, Georgia was not that good, and Texas just hiccuped in the first quarter. If it wasn't for that first half hiccup with those 3 turnovers, I think Texas beats Georgia at home. Because Texas's defense came to play that game, and they threw Carson Beck around like a rag doll.
Yeah.
But I think they needed that loss to
refocus them and kind of be like, hey, we can still lose to anybody.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what we think of ourselves.
Yeah. So they needed that loss to me, and I think Texas is more dangerous now with that loss.
But yeah, I mean, yes, OU is not very good this year. I still think there's a chance OU can come out of this rut fairly quickly. We'll have to see it though. Who knows what's going to happen in the offseason, but the key piece is you got to get rid of DeMarco Murray. It doesn't seem like he has any idea what to do with that running back room. You got to get rid of Joe John Finley. He's not an OC. Our tight ends have been the worst in the college football for the last 4 years. You got to get rid of the key pieces that are holding you back. And those are key pieces. Tight ends, running backs, O-line, Beatenbow. He's produced good people, but damn, this year has been bad. So you got to make changes. You got to figure out Was it a bad year? Was it a down year because of injuries? Or DeMarco's got to go. I love DeMarco. He's great for OU, but he's not a good running back coach. He can recruit his ass off, but the malpractice he has done in that running back room, not playing certain people in certain games or certain situations, and the rotation's bad. And Xavier Robinson's been in the back burner all year, and he comes out and is our best back last Saturday. It's like, what are we doing here? You obviously can't recognize what talent is good during practice. And so it's keeping us in this bad zone. They're not getting better. They're fumbling the ball every single week. A lot of stuff's got to change for OU. They can get out of the rut, but it's a lot of stuff's got to change.
Man, yeah. Oh, I think this OU team though, if they were in the Big 12, I think they'd be a 7-8 win team.
Even the way they are, I agree. This defense was damn good.
And it goes all the way back to just 3-4 years ago with the hiring of Sark. When it came to these two teams knowing they were going to go to the SEC, even with Lincoln Riley, he probably would have had a bunch of recruits come in. But I don't know. I think OU has to steer away from, like you said a few weeks ago, they have to get the original OU guys out of there and just clean house. It doesn't matter if they're from the alma mater or not, or if they're OU legends.
It started with Seth Luttrell, Joe John Finley, DeMarco. You got to get them out. You got to find out who the best is. Talking to a couple guys in our group chat. Dan Mullen's out there. You want a guy who's been proven to have an elite offense in the SEC? That's Dan Mullins. 2008 Florida Gators, 2020 Florida Gators.
So do you keep Venables or do you just completely clean house? If they put up no fight and get blown out the last 2 weeks and miss a bowl game, what do they do?
I'm torn. On the one hand, our defense is extremely better. It's a lot better. Even though I don't think we have a lot of the talent that other teams do, I think our defense is up there with the best of them. We just have no offense to complement them, and they get absolutely gassed. On the flip side, I don't think Brent fully has a grasp on being a head coach. I don't think he understands that if you don't see something you don't like, you need to make the change. I don't know if he has that heart in him to make that change, to be brutal. It's the SEC. It doesn't matter. You're at the top of the echelon in college football. You can't have buddies in this league. You can have friends whenever they're there, but it's a business. And you sit there and you're buddy with DeMarco, you're buddy with Seth Luttrell. You probably didn't even care about going out and doing an actual OC search. You just brought him on because he was there. That's malpractice. You go through the entire candidacy and you figure out the best thing. And I'm going to be honest here. I wish my initial thought, whenever Riley left, was Dan Lanning. That was who I wanted. Brent came up as is Brent an option? But my first thought was Dan Lanning. And look at what he's doing at Oregon. Like, damn. Like, it sucks. That's who I don't think OU went through the entire process for a head coach. They haven't gone through an entire process for the OCs. They haven't gone through an entire process of anybody else on this staff outside of maybe like Emmett Jones and Jay Valai. Because everybody else has been a part of the system some way, somehow.
I don't think you can legally do it, but I would demote Venables as defensive coordinator and then
you'd have to pay him out and then rehire him.
Yeah.
And I don't think he would have too much pride to demote and retain. He would just call it. He wouldn't come back. He would just call it, even if they talked about it.
This was brought up. Now, this is funny. I don't think it's going to happen, but it was funny and brought up that what would you think Mike Gundy would ever come to Norman as like an offensive coordinator?
I honestly don't. We don't need it. Now, Cale Gundy, you want to bring somebody back who is worth a damn. It's Cale Gundy. I understand he had his issue with what he did to get himself dismissed, but Cale Gundy was the heartbeat of that team in all those years that Lincoln Riley was here. People think it was Lincoln Riley. It was Cale Gundy. And, it changed about just a couple of weeks after Brent caught on in that summer, a couple months. But,
So OU is off this Saturday though.
yeah.
So
A,
they
a,
have
a third bye week,
they
second bye
have
week.
they have an extra weekend to get ready for when Alabama comes to Norman. We both got Texas big, or what do you got Texas by?
I got Texas by the spread.
I don't have spreads in front of me, so if you want to talk about it, that's fine.
14. 13.5 for Texas. If we want to jump ahead to OU, I can do that real quick. OU Bama. No spread yet, but it is 6:30 primetime ABC, so we get to be embarrassed on national television by Alabama yet again.
Utah at number 18 Colorado, 11 o'clock game. I got Colorado, but not as much as probably people think.
No, I Utah by the spread 10. Give me that.
You got Utah by 10?
Colorado by the spread.
Okay. Clemson at Pitt. Any chance of an upset? I'm going Clemson here by 10.
I'm going Clemson by 2 scores. Yeah.
We're not even going to talk about it. Tulane over Navy, or do you think Navy upsets them? I got Navy.
Let me get the top 20 or Tulane Navy. Give me Tulane.
Ohio State at Northwestern.
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
However, that could be never mind. It is at Wrigley Field in Chicago, so it is a bigger stadium. Give me Ohio State.
Alabama Mercer. I think Alabama wipes the floor with them.
Yeah, little tune-up game.
Louisville at Stanford. I pick Louisville.
Give me Louisville.
SMU Boston College.
Give me SMU.
Yeah. SMU as well. Penn State on the road to Purdue. Any chance, or do you think Penn State wipes them up?
No, I don't think they wipe them up, but I think it's a 24 points probably. I'll say 24.
Virginia at Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Yeah.
This is probably one of the interesting games of the week. Missouri at South Carolina. I'm going South Carolina.
I'm going South Carolina as well.
LSU at Florida. Give me LSU.
Yeah.
What do you think, before we continue, they did talk about that in the Texas game, that the head coach for Florida is coming back for at least one more year.
Yeah, I mean, they've shown good signs, especially when DJ Lagway was in. But on the flip side, I think it's the same thing as Brent. They're too reluctant to go with an obvious choice. Like, you're sitting there and you're struggling 6 weeks in with your offense, and the obvious choice is to relieve your OC. And Brent wouldn't do it until he got heat from the top down. Same thing with Florida. They wouldn't play DJ Lagway until Mertz got hurt, and he shined. He showed very good signs of being, the quarterback of the future, and he happened to get hurt. So I think maybe they're giving him a second year based on that they looked good with a decent quarterback. But, man.
Arizona State at K-State. I got K-State.
Yeah, give me K-State.
Any chance of an upset? Oregon at Wisconsin. It is a night game.
No, I don't think Camp Randall is going to be
rocking.
Yeah, it's going to be rocking. But give me Oregon.
Kansas upset BYU.
There is a chance. I mean, BYU is only a 3-point favorite. A 3-point favorite versus a 3-6 team. I think the spread is that low because of what Kansas was able to show last week. Jalen Daniels balled out.
Give me BYU though.
It is in Provo, so I'll take BYU, but would not be surprised if this was an upset.
I love the cheese that they produce there, by the way. I love provolone cheese.
It's not,
Big night game in the SEC again. Tennessee at Georgia. Georgia is in panic mode. This is a must win if they want to even look at the SEC championship game. Uh, this is tough. Tennessee at Georgia.
give me Georgia. I think Georgia wins by the spread's 10. I don't know if Nico Uyamalamalala Iama whatever is playing. So yeah,
Nico Shimalamading Dong.
give me Georgia.
Just because we've agreed on all of them, I'm going to pick Tennessee to go in and upset Georgia.
Okay.
I still think Georgia is not that good. If they can just stop the rush, I think Nico can spread them out and pickpocket them just enough.
If he plays, we don't know if Nico's playing.
Yeah, that's true too. I don't have it in front of me. I'm looking forward. Oklahoma State. Who do they play this weekend?
They play. If they have a bye week, it would be a blessing in disguise. They do. They have a bye week, or they just shut down the football team.
That's probably what they did.
Cincy at Iowa State. Give me Iowa State.
Boise State, San Jose State.
Boise State. I think Ashton Ginty will carry them to victory. Nebraska USC. Yes, OU's in a rut this year. But like I said, injuries aplenty. I think they are. It's not even close. They are the most injured program in the country at all of the key positions. I know people wanted to call OU the Nebraska of the SEC, but do we want to talk about USC being the new Nebraska in the Big Ten? You go to a conference that doesn't fit your play style at all. You're locked into a head coach that wanted to run from this play style from the SEC. And if anything, SEC might be, more high profile.
That is so interesting you say that, though, when you bring that up. What if he shagged ass because he knew what was like, you know what I mean? Not only maybe he wasn't ready for the SEC, but what if he knew the NIL deals, the pockets? Maybe he knew that OU wasn't ready. Now this is all starting to kind of match up.
It's not.
You know what I mean?
But you can't sit there and say that when OU was within 13 of Ole Miss, who a lot of people are now starting to say could potentially win the championship or compete in the SEC championship, who was right there with Tennessee, who was right there with Missouri. Yes, we got our ass handed to us by South Carolina, but you change a few things. Maybe you have a different players. You call it different plays. OU is, I'm not going to say a couple plays away. OU could have very easily been 8-1 if everybody was healthy. If OU is a completely healthy team this year, they win Tennessee, they win Missouri, they probably win Ole Miss. Because if OU is a completely healthy team, you're not taking out Jackson Arnold. You're not going 4 weeks in, 4 weeks out, Jackson Arnold back in. He's probably in a comfortable zone like he was against Arizona. Whenever they were fully healthy, he threw for 350 yards. What's happening is he doesn't have people to throw to. The offensive line isn't giving him a lot of time to throw. They're giving him probably a little bit more than he should need, but because our wide receivers aren't that good, it's just not happening. You take all of that and put it into a bubble. OU's not that bad this year. So I don't want to sit there and say Lincoln Riley saw the writing on the wall. It can be done. It's just this year hasn't panned out because of injuries, point blank. And Seth Luttrell was a not good hire.
You guys, OU's losing a lot of defense this year, though, right? They have quite a few
Yes
seniors.
and no. We're losing a lot, but we should have a lot being able to plug and play. Granted,
Uh,
I don't even think Billy Bowman is that good of a safety. Everybody, a lot of people
people
are saying
they're
Billy
really high
Bowman's
on.
a
Yeah,
top safety. I don't think he's that good.
they're high on that linebacker too. What is he? The one that's
Stutzman,
got the the mechanical arm.
Stutzman. I
Yeah,
mean, he's good, yes,
he's
but
a great OU linebacker, but I think anywhere else or in the NFL, he's just average.
I think
He's too small.
there could be better linebackers. But you look at the stats; he has 19 tackles on Saturday. He has a nose for the ball, but OU's issue is we have too many people that can only do one thing. Our edges aren't that good. We don't have a pure. Actually, we need more people that can be better at one thing. We need pure pass rushers. We need linebackers that can do both cover and we're just it's a lot of stuff. OU has a good defense, but there's a lot of people that just aren't that good, and I think it's they're getting the starts because of seniority and being able to play the position and being there and playing the position. I don't think OU hands down is a better defense than a lot of defenses in the SEC. They just have good schemes, which is why I think Brent should stay. But you got to fix the offensive side.
Speaking of an OU quarterback, Thursday night the NFL kicks off Week 11. The Washington Commanders at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles
Oh,
did look
Jalen.
the Eagles did look good against a dismantle of a Cowboys football team last night. Um, I like the Eagles in this game, though. I still think Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders are still just surprising people. I don't think they're still that good of a football team.
Yeah, kind of like what Houston
Houston
did
was
last
last
year.
year.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think Jalen Daniels is pretty good. I think
You
they
got
have a decent football team, but um,
you
it's
got the Eagles.
probably uh, yes. I like the Eagles.
I hope this game is nationally broadcast because I can't wait to watch it. The Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a big game in that division, um, but I think the Ravens might be too much. Let me go. Let me go Baltimore.
I'm going to take Pittsburgh in this one. I think Pittsburgh's defense is underrated. It's not talked about as much as these other teams. I think they have a pretty good defense, though. So if there's anyone that can do it, it's Tomlin. Tomlin will have these boys ready.
I agree, but I'm still going Ravens. The Los Angeles Rams at New England Patriots. Rams can't put anything together right now, and they're playing the Dolphins on Monday Night Live. But I like the Rams against the Patriots.
Um, yeah, give me the Rams as well.
Old Joe Flacco and the Indianapolis Colts at the New York Jets. I said this a few weeks ago, man. Indianapolis should dismantle themselves for picking uh, Richardson. He's not that good, and they have since then benched him, and Joe Flacco has started and gotten a win or two. Give me the New York Jets, though.
Um, yeah, give me the Jets.
The Las Vegas Raiders at the Miami Dolphins. Tua is back, and he looks pretty decent right now live on Monday Night Football. It's at home in Miami. Give me Miami for the win against the Raiders.
Yeah, give me Miami. The Raiders are the black eye of the NFL.
The Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears. I like the upset. Give me the Bears at home.
No, give me the Packers. I think Caleb Williams is not comfortable at the moment due to poor play calling, poor offensive play, whatever you want to call it. I don't like the Bears right now, so give me the Packers.
The Minnesota Vikings at the Tennessee Titans. Give me the Vikings.
Give me the Vikings.
The Cleveland Browns at the New Orleans Saints. Give me Jameis Winston and the Browns to upset the Saints. The Saints are going through it right now.
I mean, the Saints look decent this past weekend against Atlanta, but Derek Carr can't be good for 2 weeks in a row. Give me the Browns as well. I like Jameis in this.
Jameis Winston's been balling out, man. The Jacksonville Jaguars at the Detroit Lions. Detroit's probably pissed off that they had to play like that, and they played sloppy on Sunday night. I think they're going to win big against Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think today practice was a little more intense, a little more focused. So, give me the Lions as well.
Um,
Oh, today is probably film day. I forget Sunday and yeah.
yeah.
Anyways, they're gonna have a good game plan this week. They'll be focused and it'll be intense. And they'll come out and they'll play good on next Sunday.
This should be a hard hitting game, but it's the Seattle Seahawks at the 49ers. It's a big divisional game, but I like the 49ers by a few points.
Yeah, C-Mac came back. He looked good, looked healthy. Give me the 49ers to get the ball rolling here in this one.
The Atlanta Falcons at the Denver Broncos. It's always tough to go up the Mile High, but I like the Atlanta Falcons in this one.
I like Denver. Denver has a good defense. Like you said, they're coming 2 Mile High. They're not. Denver's not super flashy. They're not. They're going to just sit there and ground and pound you. They're going to play as hard as they can. Now, if that leads into a win or not, that's one thing. But I like Denver in this one.
I hope Tony Romo gets to call this game. The Kansas City Chiefs at the Buffalo Bills, AFC Championship rematch, or from 2 years ago. It's in Buffalo. Is this the game that finally gets the Chiefs, or do they find a way to win?
It's Buffalo, man. They can't ever seem to.
They can't do it.
Figure out a way to do it. I know it's regular season, not playoffs, but there will be something that the Chiefs are able to miraculously do, and they'll come out with a win.
I'm going to put this one more on Josh Allen. Kansas City Chiefs would come out and play like crap. Buffalo's probably going to end up winning, and then he throws a pick because that's who Josh Allen is. Every other quarterback who can throw 3 or 4 picks in a game, for some reason they get poked fun at. It happened last night. Jared Goff and C.J. Stroud.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. But unless you're Josh Allen, you get a pass.
Yeah.
So it always upsets me about Josh Allen. But let's go Chiefs. Cincinnati Bengals at the San Diego Chargers. Give me the Bengals Sunday night.
Jamar Chase isn't going to go off like he did last week. Give me the Chargers.
Next Monday night, you got the Houston Texans in Arlington against the Dallas Cowboys, who have no Dak Prescott. Micah Parsons is back, but I think this is a Texas-sized homecoming for C.J. Stroud. I think there's going to be just as much Houston Texans fans as there are Dallas Cowboy fans. Cooper Rush. I don't know who do I pick to put in there? Trey Lance, Cooper Rush. I don't think it matters. Give me Houston Texans.
I mean, we talked about it in the offseason. The Cowboys should have parted ways with Dak. Instead, they give him an extension. He gets hurt again. You don't go after a running back, specifically, I don't know, the one who's the top running back in the league right now, because you thought he was going to be washed. The Cowboys are just a bunch of they think they know more than they do, and they don't.
You could have let Dak go, use that money for a Derrick Henry, use that money for a Stephon Diggs, and then have somebody at quarterback like.
You could have tried to start new with Justin Fields or Trey Lance, obviously Trey Lance isn't it. So
you could have even put the reins on Cooper for a little bit.
Yeah. Cooper, and then if you don't like what he's doing, Joe Flacco was available, I think. Didn't they pick him up as a free agent?
Yeah.
Or was he with the team beforehand, with the Colts?
No, he was a free agent.
Yeah. I mean, it's just all around it's
but
malpractice as an organization.
The organization is so messed up. Offense on paper still looks pretty decent. You have CD. Dak will be healthy next year. You have Dalvin Cook, Dalvin Cook has shown some signs of old the last few weeks, and this was brought up somewhere. I can't remember where I read it, but I think it's a very good chance they might do this. I think you got to trade Micah Parsons away, and you got to grab as many people as you can. You have to grab as many draft picks as you can and completely start from scratch. Mike Zimmer's out of here after this year. Mike McCarthy's out of here after this year. And I think you get rid of Micah Parsons. Now, that's what I think Jerry will do. Me personally, and you can agree to this or not, but I think you trade away that extensive ass contract in Dak Prescott.
Nobody wants that contract.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that contract for what Dak Prescott is. I guarantee you, the Panthers wouldn't take Dak Prescott right now, and that's bad. But for some reason, Jerry Jones thinks he knows everything. You don't go get Derrick Henry, but you sign Dak Prescott to an extension. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
What honestly, what do you see? What do you think? What do you know? I don't think there's much.
Unfortunately, but because I think if you sign Micah Parsons, you're not going to have much money for anybody else.
Well, I mean, you sign Micah Parsons, okay, but next year you're losing Zach Martin probably. You're losing probably another offensive lineman just due to either retirement or leaving. Um, you're deep. It's all around bad right now. They're stuck in a hole built by themselves in this one off season.
There's a man out there who doesn't need a defensive star to have a really good defense. And I think they still take Micah Parsons. I think you trade him, you get everything you can. You're going to get a first, I think you'll get a second, and you'll probably get a few fourth or fifths. You give Micah Parsons away, and you just bring in ball hawking talent, and I think you have to go get Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick on paper and Jerry is going to have to step aside and let Bill do whatever Bill wants to do to that defense.
You think Bill will come back and coach?
I think for the right amount of money, Bill would come back and coach. That's to say if Tom Brady doesn't go out there and get him for Las Vegas first. But I think him and Belichick have so much bad history that he probably wouldn't. He would want to prove that he can do it in Vegas without Belichick. But I think Joey flips that pocketbook open. I think he has to go get Bill Belichick, and you have to trade away Micah Parsons. Belichick's the only guy living right now that can come in and make the defense just. You know what? Dak Prescott can play like shit for next year because a Bill Belichick defense with Travion Diggs and some other pieces that are in there like a Bland without Micah Parsons, as long as you hold people to 16, 18 points, I think they would be fine. But again, knowing Jerry and knowing how he doesn't want to let control of anything, he'll pass on Belichick to go get somebody like Deion Sanders. And then they're going to really be a laughing stock of the NFL,
Yeah,
which they already are. So,
it wouldn't be anything different.
yeah, there would not be anything different. That's the only way you save your defense and you save somebody like CeeDee Lamb. And I know people give Dak Prescott shit still, but you save somebody like Dak Prescott. If you go out and get a Deion Sanders or an offensive minded coach again, these guys they're going to be divas. You
Yeah,
have to get somebody like Bill Belichick that's going to just rub your
hard
nose in
nosed, old style.
it. Yeah.
Or, I mean, it won't happen, but uh, I would like Mike Tomlin in Dallas.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I know, but that's who I would like.
There's
If
even
I had a,
reports there's even reports of supposedly Jerry Jones reaching out to Steve Sarkisian. I'm like, there's no way he's leaving Texas. for the NFL.
No, he Sark's one of those guys where he knows when he's got it good, and I think
Now,
after everything he's been through,
now this is funny, but I don't think it'll happen either. But there has been rumors out there about Jerry going out and getting Nick Saban, but I don't think that'll happen.
I mean, probably one of the reasons Nick stopped coaching is because of NIL and everything.
It is.
And you get rid of NIL, you go straight to the NFL. It's possible. It's
But
possible.
it's the Dallas Cowboys after Mike McCarthy is fired this year because he's going to be fired. Not during the season. I guarantee you. I'll bet somebody $500 right now. He'll get fired on Black Monday. Guaranteed.
Black Friday or Cyber
Black
Monday.
Black Monday. The Monday after the NFL
Oh,
season is over.
yeah,
So that being said, who is you can't bring in just anybody. You can't bring in like another Jason Garrett or a small name. It's Jerry Jones. You have to bring in somebody that's going to be groundbreaking,
yeah,
which is also another big issue for Jerry Jones. He can't just go under the radar.
yeah, yeah.
But the Cowboys are a mess right now. They're going to miss the playoffs. They're going to be the laughing stock for the next 3 months. They're a hot mess. So
True. Yeah.
but that's my idea. I don't think Micah Parsons is with the Cowboys next year. People are like, why would you give away your best player too? Dallas has done it before.
Yeah.
The Herschel Walker trade won them Super Bowls.
True. True. All right. Well.
So, but yeah, I think it'll be a fun few weeks. Let's go watch some Monday Night Football. Next Monday, we'll get ready to talk some of the bigger SEC games. Maybe we can even predict some of our conference championship games in the next few weeks. And then Thanksgiving week will kick off. So, other than that, man, you have anything else you want to add to the wild week of sports? Congratulations, by the way, the Dodgers won the World Series, which we didn't talk about. Oklahoma City Thunder, they have like 6 home games in a row this week.
Chet is out 10 weeks, fractured his hip.
Mm.
So we should be getting Hartenstein here in a couple weeks. So, we'll have a big back. Williams came back today.
That guy sounds terrifying.
Hartenstein?
Hartenstein?
Isaiah Hartenstein? No, I mean, they started out 7-0, best in OKC history. Get some stats here and there that was best in NBA and OKC history. So they look good. They lost they lost 2 of the last 3. They're playing the Clippers right now. They'll be a top 3 seed in the West for sure, especially once everybody's back and healthy and this team's fully going. Just get it ready for playoffs. NBA's a long season. Before I would be kind of upset that teams lost games or in the regular season, but you build for the playoffs. If you're oiled and ready to go come April, that's all that matters. You just got to be hot and ready to go.
Hot and ready to go. Until then, man, tomorrow, Shed a Tear. We're talking about Robin Williams and Ms. Doubtfire on a new episode of the Cinema Movie Podcast. Thursday, on Friday the 14th, we will be talking Thanksgiving, a tradition that returns to Friday the 14th. And then me and Craig, we will talk some more sports next Monday as we get ready for the end of college football already. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Fun week, fun month. Wizard of Oz in 2 weeks. And then we end the month with Gladiator 2. So it should be a fun month of November. And keep an eye out for a wrestling podcast that will be coming up. I'm getting an itch, and I think I want to talk about a Survivor Series. So until then, we'll see everybody tomorrow for another new episode. But talk to me and Craig next Monday on another new episode of Sports Breakers.
Later.